So what we've been doing with primary school children in Rugeley and Tamworth is asking them to become involved in the design of those future schools, that they in fact will be the students of tomorrow. They'll be the people who are going to use those schools. So quite rightly, we've asked them to be involved, and we've organised a couple of days for them, both the pupils from the Rugeley area and the Tamworth area, at the National Arboretum, to be involved in a number of workshops that allows them to engage in the design of those future schools.
I think it's hugely important that students are involved in designing the schools. One of the things that people tend to forget when they're designing buildings or cars or implements is how they're going to be used. And one of the things that quite often doesn't happen is that they don't actually go and talk to the people who are going to use them. And what we've designed within the County Council is a complementary programme for the primary schools in Rugeley and in Tamworth.
I've just moved into a brand new school build. I'm here working with some primary age children to show them the process of how they can influence what happens in their plans for their new school build. I'm looking at learning spaces and how we can make learning spaces suitable for children, especially in high school, and not looking at the traditional method of 2 chairs at a table and sitting in rows. It's very much looking at how they can move the learning space into a school of the future, which is what building schools of the future is all about.
I think it's a good idea to get the primary school children involved because they're the ones who it's for.
In the past, students have in many ways been the last people that we think about when we're designing a school, and we end up with these very sort of dull boxes that we put the children in. And what we can do nowadays is to really involve the students, get their views and their ideas, and if they feel that they're part of that, then I think it will give them more ownership over their education in the future.
I think it's good having the younger views inside as well, because they are going to be the ones that are eventually going to be there, and well, I suppose the younger generation that's going to take over for us.
The starting point really is to look at the different sorts of colour palettes that we'd be using for a new build scheme. So it's a bit like a magic trick really. I talk about the fact that we've got all these colours that you might think about for your walls, but then I show them all the other palettes that you might use for your furniture, for your floors, for your metalwork. At which point, they begin to see that actually there's a vast range for them to choose from. But it's also just a really good engaging process for a design team to meet the end users who are going to be in that school and to get a chance to actually explore ideas.
Today is a real fun day really. Today's our chance to talk to the primary kids. As part of the ongoing pupil consultation, of course the older children will come into Sorrel. Today we're trying to replicate some of that. We're trying to look at and get them to have a view on spaces they like and places they don't like within their schools.
We filled in sheets about what we would like in our new school, making our own school and what we'd like.
We've been choosing colours for the new school next to Hadley Field, and the thing we did before was we drawed round a teacher, and we drawn like different ideas for the school, like sports, like bowling and crazy golf and swimming and things like that, and it was really fun.
I think it's a wonderful idea. A lot of schools are so old now that children just inherit the building that they are working and learning in, and I think it's a fantastic idea that children of the future can be involved in actually creating something for their future that they will be involved in their learning spaces.